Francesco Abbruzzino with the Scoop News. And the good news, red tide. First, before I tell you a little bit about the story, I want to preface the fact with yesterday. I think most people understood, but some people are just trolls and they like to be agitators. Red tide is still out there. It's abundantly clear. You can look at drone videos, drone pictures, same with helos and airplanes. The bloom is out there. I've always said that. However, yesterday conditions, due to the easterly wind, you could not smell them. You did not have respiratory issues. Now, I was covering that perspective because I was on a beach for an event. If someone were to go in the water and go surfing, it's a different story. Prime example, Friday, I was on the beach. I think I did a video. I couldn't smell anything. No respiratory issues. Fine. I went in the water surfing, though, and I had respiratory issues. It felt slimy, and you could smell it. It's really weird. I was in the water. You could do it. You could see it. You could feel it. You get out of the water, you couldn't. But for those events yesterday, and one of them continues today, it was fine. And I don't want to discourage people from going to those events. Some people were like down on the fact that they were having them. That event, Waterfest, actually donates. They're a nonprofit. They donate a ton of their money to safe water activities, to helping the environment, the beaches, and everything. So they're not they're not the evil company that some people were trying to present them to be. And if I were to go out there today, which I don't think I will be, I would let you know if the winds were out of the west or if I could smell sun. I would tell you, trust me. Unfortunately for that event, I was talking to the bus drivers, and they said that based upon the bus activity, half the people showed up there. Most of them probably stayed home due to thinking red tide. The other thing is tourism is down. So now I digress and go into what I was going to talk about, Sarasota Bay Watch. That picture up there is them conducting their 5th clam restoration effort. It was done yesterday out at Pine Island in conjunction with Gold Eagle Distributing, who helped transport the 36,000 pounds of clams out there. Now you might be thinking, well, why the hell are you sending clams out there? Because the thought is that they will help to filter and clean the water. And basically, Sarasota Bay Watch, check out their Facebook page. Just type in Sarasota Bay Watch, you'll find it. They were out there, and their last release of 250,000 clams this fall was yesterday. And if the plan works out, they're going to release more in 2019. The plan is, if you talk to people with Moat Marine, they looked at clams that were in the bay before the recent red tide bloom, and apparently they're doing well. And Moat conducted a study back in the summer of 2018, and they found that if filter feeding marine life could reduce the effects of red tide, or they found they could, based upon this study. Now it's just one study. I don't know what variables we're putting into. You always got to look at that. They'll say this study says this, but then you dig into it and you find the different variables, and it's not as clear cut as it appears with the initial statement. But putting clams in, they seem to survive. They seem to accumulate high levels of red tide toxins, according to USF, both clams and oysters. And they're hoping that by putting this in there, that it will help with the red tide concern or issue. And I guess this goes to saying there's a story out there with the media, too, that this is why it's not safe to eat clams or oysters or mussels, because they are severely affected by red tide. So probably stay away from those here on the Gulf Coast and even on the East Coast, because they're having issues. So hopefully this helps. I'm glad they're trying to find solutions. Glad everyone's trying to find solutions. Red tide went out. They hired a managing director that's an expert in red tide. Now that just happened. I wish it would have been done a long time ago. I've been here since the 80s, early 80s, going to high school here. I've surfed here since the 80s, early 80s, and I've experienced red tide. I know it's been here. However, we need to look at the totality of stuff, from the oil rigs that's been leaking like crazy that nobody's talking about except for like Greenpeace and other environmental folks. The dumping of fracking wastewater into the Gulf is agitating the blooms. Why that was approved, I don't know. I think it was Trump. Crazy ass stuff like that. I don't even know if you guys know this. Fracking wastewater, which is toxic crap is also used to spray food we eat. Many farmers do that. Yeah, you wouldn't know that. Even organic, someone can grow stuff organically, but if they're sitting out there spraying it with reclaimed water or fracking water, do you really want to eat that organic food? The other issue is Okeechobee. Huge issue. That really inflamed a lot of it. And I think that, and then the fourth issue is something that I've been on for 10 years is, and for some reason, it was ignored. Everyone knows that. The mayor tried to throw me off, tried to say I was fake news, and then we found out he wasn't testing them and he was fake news. And that's basically outflow pipes that are throughout Florida. So those four factors have combined into a pretty nasty bloom this year, and hence, boom, we got what we see. And so again, it's not gone. I realize that. I just posted a video of a loggerhead turtle that died 2 days ago on Siesta Key. So I understand it. I understand the issues at hand. I'm glad some people are out there trying to help the situation. And I support events when the conditions are right, that they can have them, because the industry, service, businesses, and everything have been hit so bad. We need to do something to get our industry back up, because we can't survive without putting food on the table. All right, everybody, this has been Francesco Abbruzzino with The Scoop.